And welcome to a radio roundtable. Tonight is another night of the roundtable discussion, and we have with us in studio a presidential aspirant, Mr. Benjamin Faniaye. He
Fanil,
were beautiful,
Antonio.
but just that, you know, I'm sorry about that, but he is going to call his name himself. And then, of course, our CEO of Twitter Radio, Mr. James Jensen, is also here on the round table. And tonight, we will be discussing the lack of substantive discussions by political parties on different issues. We have food insecurity, youth unemployment, healthcare, sanitation, and as many as we can cover tonight. We want to say you are welcome, and do us a favor and share the broadcast, and make all the comments. And you can also call in to ask questions at the appropriate time. And I want to say welcome, and I want to invite Mr. Um, Ben, Mr. Kofa, so he can introduce himself properly.
Well,
Welcome, Ben.
first thing I want to say hello to you and please share the link with me. I have some people asking me they want to share. My name is Benjamin Kopa Fanir. I'm an ordinary Liberian. I was born in West Point, raised up in Logantown. I'm always happy to be at every event or every occasion where Liberia or the welfare of Liberians have been discussed. I'm very happy to be here today. I want to say thank you to a radio. I want to say thanks because so far you guys have been one of the few stations in Liberia that are leading the discussion of the issues. I will say this: we are a few months away from an election, and I think it is very important that Liberians go to the polls informed. You know, voters need to make what I call informed decision. And the last thing I want to say as part of my introduction, the contest for votes, the competition for votes from individual or parties must happen in what I call the marketplace of ideas. So whoever will win the election, my expectations are that their programs, their plans will be superior. I'm happy to be here. Every Liberian hearing the sound of my voice, I want to say hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am happy to be here. I'm always happy to be here, and thank you for inviting
Thank you, Ben, and welcome. I'm going to ask Mr. Jensen to give his opening uh, statement, and then he will start this discussion. Mr. Jensen.
Well, I hope Mr. Fania will adjust his camera. I think his head is halfway.
me. Okay.
Okay, all right. I think that sounds good. Okay, I'm glad to be here, and to our listening audience, we want to say thank you for stopping by. This is the platform that we are prepared to share ideas. And for today's discussion, it is good that those who are in the political theater get involved in engaging one another, engaging with Liberians, engaging with the media, civil society organizations, and those well-meaning people, even those silent political actors. It is good to keep the discussion going because for an election, there must be a group of people that will be informed in order to make an informed decision. We all are aging, we are gradually leaving the stage of life. And by that, it is good to leave behind a society that is prepared to survive the test of time. And so, in this period of our existence, it is good that we have people who want to be leaders, and the best way we can do is to engage them. So, even those who are in leadership, if they are open up, we all should be engaging one another in order to find the best ideas that can help build a society. For some of us who have left Liberia, we see how other people are building their society. And so The discussion is good. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that the presidential aspirant is always with us. We hope that many other will find time to discuss the issues. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here once again. We want to say, Mr. Fanian, thank you for coming, and we hope that we have a fruitful discussion. Patient, thank you for the opportunity once again to discuss on this platform.
Thank you. Before we go into our topic for tonight, I know there are people out there that are seeing you maybe for the first time, Mr. Ben. I will just call you Ben for now. And tonight we are talking about the lack of substantive discussions by political parties on different issues that are affecting the country, the nation, Liberia. But before we talk about political party, let's talk about yourself, because people might see you and they say, "Who is that person in studio, and why should we trust him with the presidency?" Because I'm sure we have asked you this question before, but for the benefit of our listeners out there who want to ask that question again, why should Liberians trust you with the highest office of the land?
Well, there are two things I want to say. The question you just asked me uh, portrays what I call a reality. Every significant human endeavor has been met with apprehension. Every significant endeavor. So it is a natural response when people are kind of apprehensive in terms of who you are, what you think you can do. I think at the end of everything, at the end of it all, my capacity, my ability to convince Liberians that I represent the best option will prove me right, and my execution will
Mm,
convince Liberians that they made a better choice. Let me just say this to just stress why this show was made today. We are on this show, maybe the few Liberians watching us. We are discussing the critical issues that matters to Liberians, especially so we talk about food insecurity. I will give you data as we go along. We have principal actors in Liberia, including the government of Liberia. Just last 2 weeks, when George Weah returned to Liberia, George Weah said on his pulpit, he said he will not debate the issues. But that's what I think. When we debate the issues that affect Liberian people, through that dialogue, through the interaction, we can come up with suitable solutions. If we are running a country and there are critical issues, especially so we talk about healthcare, and we are not prepared to push that to the front burner, then it is my conclusion that we are not in the interest of the people. So I will urge Liberians to demand from people who are in leadership and people who are contesting potential leaders to give their ideas, their proposals, their solutions to the problem they are facing. We talk about youth unemployment. Almost, I would say, maybe over 1 million plus young people in Liberia without jobs. That should be the number one worry for the government, as well as people aspiring to leadership. So it's not about me being an unknown. I relish the road. I appreciate that. It is my proposal that Liberian will listen to, and they will take from those proposals my capability in terms of executing those ideas. And that's why I believe that a lot of Liberians continue to gravitate towards me day in and day out. Because with me, they are hearing about possible solutions. It is easy to say, oh, George, we are corrupt, George, we are that rule, George, we are that. Okay, great. What happens after George Weah? Let me just give one point before we go along. Just a few days ago, we have the agriculture minister. CDC government is literally in its 5th year, going to 6th year. The agriculture minister came out and said, we have a blueprint. My brother and sister, you know what a blueprint, everybody know what a blueprint is. The blueprint is literally an idea. We're talking about 5 years plus and we have a blueprint. We should rather be saying, oh, we executed these plans and we are making possible adjustment, and these and these and these were the impact. If the agriculture minister is telling us in 2023 that she has blueprint, for me, that demonstrates failure. That demonstrates the government inability to resolve the problem in terms of our agricultural sector. So before people aspire to leadership, they must give the people blueprint. They must give the people an indication that they can solve the existing problems. So that's why I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
You said something just now. You said before people aspire to leadership, they should give the people blueprint. Now, what is your own blueprint for Liberia?
I've always said on every show that I've gone to that agriculture, when I worked for the United Nations in 2002, there was a report. I mean, the UN invested heavily in that assessment of Africa. They said the leading way in which Africa could fight widespread poverty is by heavily engaging in agriculture. Because we had two things to our advantage almost every year. We have the availability of land, and we also have the availability of young people. Let me stress one thing. Let's bring it to the Liberian case. In Liberia, 65% of the people who call themselves Liberians today, they are under the age of 35 years old. The median age in Liberia is a little bit over 19 years. So what that means is we have like a significant availability of young people. We only have to utilize them in the right way in terms of planning a vibrant agricultural strategy. Because most of the time we need what you call unskilled labor. That is, the guy don't have to go to school to get a degree. We can literally train that man on the go to do a job, and the job will be done. So the first thing that any administration in Liberia needs to focus on is the agricultural sector. That's why I brought that thing up first, because now I told you last week, the agriculture minister appeared before our Senate and said she has a blueprint. It's 5 years plus. I know she wasn't there for 5 years, but government is continuing it. She should have just, take hold of the plan that she made, then execute it or make adjustment. But there was no plan. That's what the agriculture minister is telling us now, that she has a blueprint. So that shouldn't be the case. We should rather have the program design. The only thing that should hold us back will be funding as well as implementation in terms of competent managers. So my first program for Liberia is a huge push into the agricultural sector. And let me tell you what it will be built on. It will be built on mechanized farming. To realize any significant reward, you need mechanization. It's not one guy holding army chapia in your hand. No, that would do nothing. That's what they call subsistence farming. We don't want that. We want to have enough food to an extent where we can start exporting. That is called value addition, exporting food. So we will make a significant push into that's my number one plan, because we have the tools, we have the equipment, and we have the manpower available to delve into that sector. That's my number one strategy.
Thank you, Ben. Jensen. Oh, we can't hear you, Jensen. You're muted.
Yes, I'm in a noisy place. So,
Okay.
First and foremost, let me take it from this point. What should we be thinking about when we talk about substantive discussions on national issues? In my view, Liberians at this stage of its failures and successes, they must be discussing issues on the basis of truth, on the basis of research findings, on the basis of what they can do differently and get a result. It shouldn't be a matter of, when you're in government, it means lies and cronyism are the way to succeed. Let me put it this way. For example, let me use Joseph Baka as an example, just recent event. Joseph Baka is not too well, right? He's from one of the leading political parties. The Constitution of Liberia speaks of incapacitated president in government. When you are president, you should be impeached when you are at that level. It is not about who is ill. Each and every one of us, sickness is, as long as you are having life, these things are bound to happen. So if you're discussing sickness of a former government official, I would want to know what are the mechanisms that have been put in place for those former government officials, for those who to come former government officials, whether there's a system that can cater to those who are in that position right now and prepare for those who will come and look at the overall system as to health. So when discussing about Joseph Barker illness, it's not about him as a person. It's not about someone wish hunting him or somebody thinking that, oh, this man will get sick or we're wishing him that he may not reach. But if I want to, for example, when I'm discussing life with my children, I tell them, oh, you must be prepared. One of these days, you will not be, I will not be with you guys. That's being realistic. That's being sincere. That's being telling them the truth. So that when they're doing anything in their lifetime, they say, hey, it's not bewitching myself. No, Jensen will soon die. No, that's not it. But life being what it is, my age, if I'm reaching TV school 10, I should be telling them almost like every other time I have conversation with them. So when there is an issue to be discussed, you don't discuss it to give yourself a feeling. You discuss it on the basis of wanting the general good. Now, when I was the strategic planning and policy advisor at the General Auditing Commission, the strategic way of discussing issues, the first thing is you must have a goal. What is the goal that I can set to get this thing achieved? When you set the goal, it's not all to it. Maybe you get 5 goals. Out of the 5 goals, you say, okay, I will go on, like you're talking about 5 years. And I agree with you. Anybody who's talking about getting blueprint at this age, that means you're not serious. Because generally, if I have 5 strategic goals, like maybe the proper agenda per se, if you have any agenda for agriculture, that agenda should be broken down into activities. When you have goal 1, I have to do maybe clean the farm or get ways of getting tractors or buy equipment for farming. That would have been setting the activities into motion. Goal 1, activity 1 is to buy all of the equipment or go into places and find which area, which county area can find to be farmed, to make large farms. So you set those activities into motion. When you achieve those activities, you go to activity 2. Maybe in year 1, year 2, you would have done activity 1, 2, 3. Year 2, activity 3, 4, 5, 6. At year 3, and so on. Maybe you could do goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, goal 5 together. But because they had different, actors, those who are supposed to take part in those goals, maybe for education will be tailoring their goal towards activity, breaking down so they can have an effective education system after 5 years. If you have health, the health minister and authorities should be breaking down the goal of health into activities so that year 1, they would have seen result. And there would have been a monitoring team. Like, for example, the General Auditing Commission, get the value of money. The national legislature set money aside. And the money being set aside is for those who are in those agencies to make sure that the activity they have planned, there is money to help them achieve those activities. So goal 1, activity 1 is being achieved. Goal 1, activity 2, 3, 4 is being achieved for year 1, year 2, year 3. So by that, but again, you cannot talk into Liberia like you're talking to people. Sometimes when you just sit and look at the people. So when you talk about substantive discussions, you must have people who have the ideas. You must have people who understand what is the merit of the issue. What is the benefit I stand to get if I achieve goal 1, activity 1 to 10? Let us assume that was the realistic approach of the CDC. How you call it? Proper agenda. By this time, Liberian would have seen Joe needed not to worry himself, like Prince Justin said. If you know you did a lot of good job, you should not even be worried about whether people come into campaign, whether new faces come into politics, or what have you. But if you didn't set a clear-cut proper agenda, if you didn't even know what proper agenda was, but you rather photocopy it into the Liberian system, and you didn't know how the people implemented those things, at this stage, you'll be talking about setting blueprint and all of this stuff. That's the ugly side of having a substantive discussion. In Liberia, when you want to discuss 10 people, like even though young people in Liberia today, there are people who are sitting behind women bracket. Some of them, when their mothers and fathers get sick, they tell mommy, you know what? Don't take the bucket to go draw it. Let the children draw the water. Don't do that, man. You need to rest. Daddy, don't do that. You have to rest, sir. But now it's just a bucket. That the United Party, I don't think they have any substantive replacement for Joseph Braga, as so much was happening to him today. They are not discussing the issues. unity party should be discussing, okay, we have an old man who is not too well. Joseph Broker himself came and he said, well, you have a pacemaker, right? Nobody wish anybody illness. But when these things come about, you must be able to discuss these things substantively and be able to help Liberia to grow in a way that people will begin to learn truth telling. But Liberians are almost like well, deceptive way people like to do things.
I want to say this, my brother.
Like,
Come in.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah, come in. You know, you said a lot of good things. I just want to reinforce what you said. You see, somebody called me the last time and said, oh, Joia gave, that's what somebody told me. So Joia gave, Joe Boaga cash to go to America. So, and you know, the person was surprised. I said, but that represents a failure of the system in Liberia. You see, just what you said, we should have a competent pension system. Former government officials should have a competent pension system. Part of that system should include health care. So Joe Boaga, fair enough, he's just one guy. What about all the other past officials of government of Liberia? What if they get sick? What is the pension program like? How effective are those programs? So, but let me tell you where I want to move away far from you. You see, when we are discussing this kind of thing, you see, when I told our other hosts that you see, society is driven by the leadership. The leadership. That's why you see what we are on here today. I want the leadership of the political parties, not the people. Sociology will tell you most time it's 2% of every society that control the entire society. 2% of the people, or sometimes less than that. So that's what I said at the onset of this show, that the leadership of the political parties, those who make the rules, those who are invested with power, they should be the one discussing this thing. That's how this thing trickle down to your underling and your party members. That's what I'm concerned, because I don't hear anything substantive coming from George Weah. I don't hear anything substantive coming from from the ANC. I don't hear anything substantive coming from the UP. I want their leadership to provide solution, to provide literally a roadmap, a way forward. Look at what you said. Joe Boaga is coming to America and healthcare. Somebody said, oh, Joe, we are giving money. It represents a failure of the system. The pension system in Liberia doesn't work, because Joe Boaga shouldn't wait for somebody to give him money. Joe Boaga should be automatically entitled to some kind of pension scheme that includes his health care. See, those are all the kind of things. And you know that we're talking about it. Now, I want to stress this. This is a report from USAID, July 2022, from USAID. Let me just tell you guys something, because that's the first thing on this list. They literally went and did a research on food insecurity in Liberia. That's why I'm focused on agriculture, food insecurity. They said the average rice, the price of rice in Liberia from May 2021 increased by 8%. The average price of fuel since October 2021 increased by 42%. 38.9% of Liberians are undernourished. 45% of the death of children under 5 years old are the result of malnourishment. These are things that should literally trigger the leaders of the society. This is a USAID report. This is USAID. This is their report. 2022. We talk about 38, almost 40% of Liberia has been assessed to be malnourished. Our president is flying in a private jet. 45% of our population is malnourished. And we have an agriculture minister that is showing us blueprint. I mean, these are the kind of things that should worry people who call themselves leaders. That you say, no, we have to correct this. Let me tell you why I put youth unemployment there.
Okay, before we get into that, we see the current health status of Liberia, like you already listed. Which segment needs more focus? And what's your take on the budgetary allocation for that sector in the proposed draft national budget?
Well, you see, health is holistic. Within the Liberian context, My focus is what I would call accessibility and affordability. You see, there are some things that you need what I would call like thinkers. You need people to decide. You see, here, anywhere else in the world, when people are building a hospital, they look at what they call strategic locations. That means that hospital should be accessible, not be too far, because in cases of emergency, you don't want to run all the way too far. That's number one. Number two is access. That means when I get sick, when I go to the hospital, they shouldn't send me home because I am, I'm broke or I'm poor. That's one of the things I call for the national health insurance policy for all Liberians. Now, let me tell you this. The World Health Organization, it's not me. You can search for it online. They said in Liberia right now, we have estimated 298 doctors. I mean, it boggles my mind. 298 doctors for a population of 5.1 million. That means we have almost 15,000 Liberians fighting to see one doctor. 15,000, you will literally die before your appointment comes through. These are things that you say, no, these are critical sector of our national economy. We have to invest in it, because for people to go to work, they have to be healthy. For the country to move forward, we must have healthy people. So if we have that low amount of doctors, we need to have a comprehensive plan in terms of increasing the numbers of doctors that we have. That's number one. And increasing the capacity of our nurses, and also reinforcing the doctors. Let me tell you this. Most people are suggesting online, this is what I would suggest. For the short term, Cuba, we have doctors. There are many, many doctors there. We can bring Cuban doctors to Liberia, maybe pilot program, 100 of them, pilot program, we pay them. We find hostels for them. But the goals will be to transfer knowledge to Liberian doctors. Most of the hospitals should literally be transformed to what you call teaching hospitals, where they have doctors doing residency. So people will be transferring knowledge. You see, sometimes it is unwise to say, oh, let's send a poor overseas. You see, I will tell you this, humans are humans. Some of the people we send overseas, they don't come back. I don't blame them for that, because people look for opportunities everywhere. But what we can do, we can bring the doctors to Liberia and let them transfer knowledge and skill, their professionalism to Liberians who want to be doctors. Those are the immediate things we can do. Let me tell you one thing. A lot of people say healthcare. We talk about also dental care. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, I've never heard of a prominent dentist in Liberia. Your dental care is critical. It's critical. So we are talking about a comprehensive approach. But let me tell you, the last year, I think it was almost like almost 100 million or 200. I mean, I can't get the exact amount now. Off here. But what I'm saying is, these things should be the critical areas that we should focus our attention. But let me tell you what hurts me in all of that. The lawmakers. There was a point in time we saw the checks on Facebook. They got $10,000 a part of their health care. The lawmakers who we elected to transform our life, they have health care. The rest of the population has nothing. I proposed this many times. We need to start what I call a pilot program in terms of a national health insurance plan for citizens. It can be run like this. We can subsidize the hospitals, and we give Liberians an ID card, so that when they go to hospital, they can present that card and the government will foot the bill. That's what we can do. You have to have insurance for your citizens, but we don't have that. We do not have. So it's almost like a broken system. Most of the monies, as me and you speak right now, go to our legislature. Last year, I complained about this over the last few days. We spent almost $800 million in change. There have been no reports in terms of how this money was spent and how effective the spending were. We are looking forward to another budget this year. Nobody is demanding like I'm doing. So, oh, no. We spent this huge amount of money last year. How effective was were the appropriations? I mean, what did we gain? I will tell you this, Liberian gained nothing. One of the critical things that happened last year, after an $11 million subsidy on rice, the price of rice increased. It represented total failure. But you see, that's why you need people who have the requisite skill and competence. This is what I would do. Because looking at it from the onset, there are elements that are missing. Insufficiency in terms of doctors and their expertise. How do we increase the capacity of nurses? How do we even invest in more nurses? How do we pay these people? Is there something we have to increase the size of the school to put more hostels? We have to consider all of that. Then we have to invest in that. But we are rather investing in representatives, senators that contribute literally nothing. You can't tell me a single law these people passed last year, but they are making $12,000 a month. And bring that to this year, where George Weah has $700,000 in his office budget for humanitarian initiatives. So it's just wrong spending. We need to focus on what is important for Liberia and Liberians.
Thank you. Thank you. Jensen?
This presidential aspirant can fire, but let me say this. There's no, the discussion is substantive discussion. Political parties talk about food insecurity and what are those things, food insecurity, health, and what have you. But there's something I want to say and respectfully disagree with the aspirant. Political parties must have a system. And I think it's about time to start challenging Mr. Fania, all of these presidential aspirants. They need to clearly tell us the team that they have. Who is heading Mr. Fania's political campaign? He said he want to be a president, so we put it on the scale and begin to weight him.
You just
I'm coming. I know you want me to go.
No. I mean, you just say my question because I have that question here. I wanted to know how functional.
The reason why I'm saying it, not directly to him per se. Like, for example, George Weah. I wouldn't think that George Weah as a president can run a government. If George Weah had taken his time to appoint a very good cabinet, he may have had his kitchen cabinet, the Simon Tour, the Mangeo, and all of those people before. And then a very good cabinet that mean well for the country would have had cabinet meetings, and there would have been recommendations, would have forced other government officials from other agencies to perform. But everybody is like, I'm scared to talk. When I thought it would dismiss me, or when I thought I would lose my job. Because of those things, there is no substantive discussion within the national government. And similarly, it is with all of the political parties. No political parties should not be talking. They must have a very serious. First, the political party is a corporate body, right? They have a board. The board members may be able to have leadership. Make sure that the party runs in a way that even if one person falls, there will be a replacement. When there are issues, there must be issues holistically discussed, and there must be findings from the political institutions. Now, let's assume that we have 22 political parties and people are really discussing. You will have people thinking about the problem that is affecting Liberia. There's a two-way radio correspondent, Lanston from Maryland County. He did for us a piece of video showing us a health center, for God in heaven's sake. I shed tears when I saw that. That's been very deceptive. In whose community? The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Sorokin. There's a health center that is over there, dilapidated, not even looking like a health center. And yes, somebody talking about county development in the millions. People calling figures, and you go down to the popular. Before we came on air, somebody just comment. There's somebody that I know, somebody very close. They said the person has stroke. How did that person take treatment? It's a concern. Not just that person. People are dying. And these people have no idea of what is happening in the country. Although they want to get out and wear coats soon and get out every day. It is heartbreaking to see a nation in such a way. When you talk, people think, say, you might get on radio and be talking all kind of low, funny stuff and all the time when serious issues are happening. Somebody got sick. He's not sick. He got an accident. They flew him out of the country. He took treatment. I mean, by the help of other system, he's well. He has gone back. But what's about those who are in Liberia? What is happening? When you don't have the kind of a system to help your own people, it is not the way in which political institutions and individuals who want to be leaders, we should be looking at them. Every one of them will need to challenge people on the scale of what is it you can do. What is your team like? Who are on your team? I can see somebody on your team, I just lose confidence in you because I feel that those who are around you, they only want to get money, they want to be sycophantic and don't want to discuss the issues. So how will you advise coming when you even afraid of comings? Some of them try to go at John Molu. Then when John Molu, as he was my boss when there are issues to be discussed, I said what I needed to tell him, whether he like it or not. And this is what people respect you. It's not because you want to do things. Oh yeah, and my job. That's the Liberian mentality, my brother. Right now, I don't care whoever become president. Jesse don't care. We have to keep knocking the doors on those who mean well will do what they need to do for that country. Liberia, we always be living the same. What country are we going to leave behind? Children and grandchildren. What kind of a system are you going to leave behind? Is that people come and just get money when they die, they leave behind a broken nation. People having talk shows. People just want to talk, so that at the end of the day, somebody will get the envelope. The media, my own colleagues. Everybody want to just say, this man will win, this one will win. That's not the issue here. The issue is how substantive will be discussed. Mr. Fania must be able to tell us clearly, this is my political team. You want to reach to me. This is my campaign chairman. This is the person who I rely on. So we can be able to judge him. The kind of people he will appoint to work with you. He says, this man is a very serious man. Now, Mr. Fania, all of those persons who want to be president, if they don't have a team, I have serious problem with them. Because they're not going to be running just any kind of a low, Suzu club. Talking about nation, Republic of Liberia, that was founded on Christian principle, that has a system that was laid down since 1847. So if you don't have a team, that means you're not ready for president to become president. Yeah, I see a finger up. You can talk.
Yeah. You see, first thing, my brother, I really like this show tonight. It's kind of good because I really hope that most of the other shows that discuss Liberia should be like this. You see, there are methods to solving problems. Most times you don't reinvent the wheel. There are what you call tried and tested methods. The only thing one needs to do when you are in Liberia, you tailor your solutions to the Liberian environment. Let me tell you something. Let me just give you something. Number one, to solve a problem, you must have a clear overview of the problem. Let me give you one example. In the agricultural sector, because Liberia is inefficient in agriculture, we have what you call now food insecurity. Number two, what is the root of the problem? Lack of funding, lack of requisite expertise, and lack of a comprehensive program. Then we go to the third one. We must make sure that everything that we are saying in regards to agriculture is proven scientifically. That's why I brought this USAID report. USAID said 39% of Liberians currently they are malnourished, undernourished. Then USAID also said 45% of the death of our children under 5 years old is due to malnourishment. That is, we have scientific evidence backed by a report by the USAID that due to the lacks or the ineffectiveness of the Liberia agricultural program, it is negatively affecting the population. Now we'll go down to the next. You say, okay, how can we solve this problem? What has been tried before? But I will tell you this, my brother, as we speak to you, the Minister of Agriculture in this year's budget is a little over 2 million. The Minister of Agriculture. And it is our only way out of poverty. The Minister of Agriculture is a little over 2 million. Now, look at the EPS. The EPS, I think this year again, they have almost 8-9 million in the budget. So what are the priorities? What's most important? The EPS or the Ministry of Agriculture? So these are the kind of things you must have an idea. Even that's what defines a leader. A leader, most time, like you said, the right thing. A leader, most time, you don't have all the expertise, but you have the capacity to assemble a team that can bring about. Because number one, you have a vision. You know what you want. You say, okay, we have to drive this agricultural push so that we can become self-sufficient. Then you say, okay, give me the requisite experts, the people who have proven track record in this field, so that they can come together and give me a comprehensive program that is realistic, that is time bound, that we can do to move this sector forward. But where you have the Minister of Agriculture now, the minister is telling you this late in the game that she has a blueprint, it's a failure. And like we said, look at the pro-poor agenda, for development. One of the leg of the pro-poor agenda under the economy is agriculture. So how effective has been the implementation of the pro-poor agenda, especially so the agricultural arm of it? It's been dismal, because now we have the agriculture minister telling us that, she has a blueprint. So these are the kind of, you see, I will tell you this, when you have a problem and you don't know you have a problem, you have double problems. But when you have a problem and you know you have a problem, the wise people say you are halfway in terms of providing the solution to that problem. One of the things we should recognize, that's why everybody's talking about, Joe Weah re-election. I ask people, what is Joe Weah re-election pitch? So how are you telling them, okay, why should he be re-elected? Then the people who are vying for office, why should they be elected? Because all I see from them is, $70,000 laws, or Joe Baka Sego, no. Where are the substance? The election should be based on constant dialogue of the issues, and especially so geared toward finding solutions. We talk about poverty. Almost 70% of Liberians live in poverty. How do we resolve that? What can we do? And we can't just say, we are going closer towards the election day. We must be, I will tell you this, to talk about the solution is good. As we are on this show tonight, somebody can watch this show tonight or watch this show maybe in a few months' time and take some ideas from there. We have to dialogue, we have to interact. So at the end of the day, we will have the person with the best idea, especially so the one that is practical to win. It's not the person that get all the crowd. No. George Weah will be gone. Like you rightly said, in a few years from now, you and myself won't be here. And that worries me. What Liberia will our children and their children inherit? I will tell you this, 50 years down the line, Liberians, they will look at us and say, that was the worst generation.
Right.
Mm.
They will look at us and say that. They will say that. Let me tell you why. Whenever you are born into any community, whether you're born in West Point, Clarendon, any community, the rule of life is two things you got to do. You either maintain that community, the status quo, because you were born into a hospital that was existing. That's how you were born there.
Right.
Or you improve it. You never have the responsibility to destroy your community. You can't do that. That's what we did to Liberia. We invited a war that tore that country up. So we have to maintain our community or improve it. We destroy Liberia. So now in the area of recreating Liberia, how involved are we? Are we standing on the sidelines? At the very least, one of the things I like from most Americans, say, oh my man, look at the guy, nobody will vote for you. But you see, I am trying, I say, I want to be part of the rebuilding process.
How involved are you, Ben? How involved?
No. Hold on, man. Ben,
and let me just
I got to learn.
Okay.
There are other Liberians who are more competent, who are more experienced than I am. But the problem is the toxicity of the Liberian political sphere kept them away. So I want to make it about issues. So we'll not be causing my cause. We will be debating in terms of what is right and solutions for the people. Go ahead.
I don't have no problem with anybody who wants to be president. I respect you. I think I see L.A. Junze, you say he's the best president. I respect each and every one of you that want to be president of Liberia. In fact, if any young person want to be president, I will support them. Why? Because this is a new age. This is a new age. Even the young folks who running behind Joseph Boakai right now, some of them are competent Liberians that can become president and do better.
I agree with you.
I don't want to see anybody where, I mean, somebody has aged out. When you say it, people think like, you I don't hate people, and for some of us, I don't care, really, because Liberia, if this country will grow, if you look at the global problem, people are trying to find solution to the problem. You need thinking people. You need a leader who will not be sleeping when you're supposed to be doing research, when you're supposed to be reading reports, when you're supposed to be making corrections on people's failures, when you're supposed to be dismissing other people and appointing new people. When a leader who will not be sitting down and probably sleeping and doing something else. We're talking about leaders who will be able to challenge themselves and be on par with other world leaders. Africa as a whole, is there going to be a united Africa? That we know united Africa, we're going to get to see all people who will not even have the first thinking, right? So what we have said here, and now I took you from your analysis. You want to keep us to the point where agriculture, George, we are agriculture minister. This is their last year. So whether they have blueprint, they don't have blueprint, there's no concern for me, personally for me. My concern right now is how can Liberians find the best leader before October elections? Whether you want to have a blueprint for agriculture, you can now make a farm and get a harvest that will supply Liberia and the world at large. So much more cannot waste my time whether somebody get a blueprint. The issue that I said right now is I want to look at Fania. Why does he want to be president? The health situation is there, but I cannot be doing research because I think George, we are going to make a big farm. I cannot be making research because I feel they're going to build the best hospital in this election year, that I know is already tension packed. People are thinking more political and want to find way of winning elections. So anybody who get money instead go and make fun, they're wasting their time. So my thinking right now, like you were saying, I know for sure before you start something, you must make research, get all of the ideas from other places, and then you sit down, you tailor those ideas, and from those kind of a research, you come on, we make analysis, and you begin to think, okay, you know why? This my department will do this and this. This my department will do this and this. And then you begin to see, well, okay, we're going out to go do what we're supposed to be doing. The 5 years gone. Anybody that's telling you now, oh, we want to do even the national budget, you look at it keenly. That national budget is still up towards this election. People want money, people get money in it because of campaign money. They're not going to do anything serious. That's when you become president the very first 5 years. That's a 3 year. You don't do nothing serious, you're not going to do nothing more. And that's such is the case with George Weah. The road. I saw James Barney complaining about the road. You are a senator. And you're saying, oh, the CDC government is not in the interest of the people of the Southeast. But yet you've been taking millions of dollars. Right? So the issue right now is, and you all now that want to be president, you must be able to tell us some things.
No, my brother,
it's not about you in particular, but I'm talking about.
No, I don't want to say something. You said something good, but let me just.
You be telling you on this platform. This is my team. I have a team. My team right now, they're in Liberia. They're going all out. They're doing everything they want to do. Looking at the health sector, educational sector, looking at the agricultural means and see how we can make.
You said something good. You said something good, but let me come back a little bit. When you said it doesn't matter, I don't think that is a fair assessment in terms of what has happened before. Because what has happened before was funded. The Minister of Agriculture, since George Weah took over, they receive monies every year. So it must be very important to you that the monies was wasted. It must be important. Don't say it.
Just a point. You don't get hold on. Just an intervention. The issue is not whether we should be, we should be evaluating George Weah now as a government. The Audit Commission, the GSC, the General Audit Commission must be able to look at all of these 5 years budget lines and then be able to say whether they produce or not. But right now, you myself, for me personally, I want to see you want to be president.
Let me tell you what that is important. Because George Weah, maybe from 2018 up to now, if he has significant failures it can negatively impact the performance of the next government, because everything is based on a foundation. Government is continuity. So it should bother you that George Weah has budget upon budget last year, the biggest budget in our history, and nothing was accomplished. For me, I take that very seriously. That's why on day one, there will be forensic audit of the administration from its day one.
That's
to
fair.
the next office.
That's fair. That's fair, right? You're talking about next election, after election.
Hold on small.
Yeah.
Hold on now. You see, once you do that, you'll be doing two things. You will set yourself up for future and performance, as well as you will send out a message that there will be accountability to bear, especially so for inability to perform, or what I would call incompetence. Let me just give you one thing before I come up there. Now, let's look at the coast of Liberia. The coast of Liberia, how long is it? 579 kilometers long. But let me tell you this, Norway, before Norway discovered oil, the entire economy of that powerhouse in Europe, they are a rich country, it was based on fishery. Not before Norway discovered oil. What kind of comprehensive fishery program we have? You see, the leaders should have vision. From since you and myself were young, they said, oh, Boma, Lamco, iron ore. Extractive industry gave a country nothing because you are selling raw materials. Raw materials gave you nothing. I'm telling you, if we combine all the ore that they took from Liberia from the time you were born up to now, they will probably be worth multiple billions of dollars. What is stopping the government of Liberia from opening a national steel foundry? What is stopping the government of Liberia from opening a rubber processing plant? You see, the leader must have vision. It's not you say, oh, the guy must get all the things. The leader must have vision.
Okay, Mr.
Last thing I want to say, Rawlings has 6 people behind him. 6 people, right. 6 guys. So but they changed Liberia. They changed Liberia. They changed Ghana. 6 people.
So who behind you?
No, hold on now. I will come to my team. But what I'm just telling you is, you see, the leader must be the bearer and the driver of the vision. That's why when I come to shows, most times I try to sit down on the issue. Last thing I want to say before you come, Madam Blade, you know, somebody was telling me today, oh, Joe, we are corrupt. I said, no. What is happening in Liberia is something what you call, there is a perception of corruption. We can declare Joe to be corrupt once we have an audit done. You don't just talk like that. You have to talk with pieces of evidence. If we audit the administration and the audit report say, oh, this money was missing, yes, then we can hold Joe accountable in terms of stealing. But now we don't have the evidence. Even though there is a overarching perception, we don't have the evidence. That's why when you're approaching these things, you have to approach them systematically and scientifically, because as leaders, your words carry power. I don't want to speak irresponsibly. I want to speak based on evidence. Go ahead, Madam Blay.
During the ascendancy of President Weah, he graded his predecessor 80% plus.
Yeah.
So what will you grade? What will be the scorecard of President Weah? Because he's nearing his tenure, the ending of his tenure, unless he is re-elected. But his first year, his first tenure, how will you grade him?
Well, I would say this. I grade George Weah literally less than 20%. I will tell you why. This report is 2022. It's 2022. It's telling me that 45% of the children under 5 years old, they are dying from malnutrition. I grade George Weah less than 20%. I'll tell you this, and I told a lot of my friends, there is no basis for George Weah re-election. There must be a basis. You say, oh, I have done this, I will continue to do this. How can George Weah convince anybody to re-elect him? How? There's no basis. Poverty is on the rise. We don't even have, there's not even stable electricity. Even they added Africans to the program. We can't even have stable electricity.
But convince Liberians now. You who want to be president, just tell us that your team. Let's hear something substantive. I mean, we discuss
Okay,
it
great.
substantively.
The
So
first member I have on my team is Mr. Anthony Wallado. He will be literally my chief of staff. He's a very competent Liberian, a graduate from the University of Ghana in Legon. Competent Liberian. He will be my chief of staff because he's a very knowledgeable man and he has the requisite competence. Number two, in Liberia right now, in Liberia, my team is led there by Mr. Samuel J.V. Togba. He's right now in Bonn as we speak, canvassing for us. Because I'll tell you this, our headquarters will be located in Grand Jide. That's where our headquarters will be. But he is there solidifying the ground where we had a brief meeting this morning in terms of launching the official campaign. But you see, if I want to lead people and I don't have a vision, I don't understand what the problems are, how can I provide solution? I can bring everybody behind me, but I must have the solution and I must understand the problems. So that is, you see, look at the vision, look at the engagement. I just told you right now, look at our coastline. Look at our coastline. What is being done nationally in terms of tapping into the resources in the ocean of the coast of Liberia? What is being done with that? I will tell you this. China and other countries, they come and fish in Liberian waters illegally. You know that? They come and fish there. We don't have a competent fishery program. The government has resigned itself to begging. We have to go to the EU, have to go to the World Bank. We have to go. No. We don't need to beg. We have the resources to run our own country profitably. We don't need to beg. Look at the land in Liberia. If I read you the stats about the land, this is the amount of, talking about the hectares of lands we have in Liberia, but just completely empty. And we are begging people for money to feed ourselves. We have to come out with comprehensive program to move our country forward. Right now, almost all of the leadership, that's why somebody tell me, who do you know outside? I don't need to know anybody outside. The president of Liberia office should be competent enough to come out with visionary plan to develop Liberia. I don't need to know any international partner. We have the resources. Some of these people look at us as if we are fools. Look at this country that is so evergreen, but the leadership is based on begging.
Thank you, Ben. Chance to respond to that.
Mr. Vania, we have heard few names, and we will keep asking you questions.
I love them. I love them.
Like your agenda for Liberia and the problems that you're talking about. They are not new. Even those who are in government, they know
this is my agenda for Liberia.
Okay, very good. Maybe you had to send copy to us too, so that we
have it. You can go to my website, kofa23.com.
Just share that you in conversation with the manager already or two. Just forward a copy to her. We will get it. The reason is the reason we ask you for your team. These are some of the issues. Your team should be there reaching out to people. All right. When they see that you are appearing on radio show like this, say, you know what, my president to be has an agenda. We should not be asking you. You should be what is your team should better reach out to all. But that is not an issue, right? Liberia's problem. There's no one that do not understand that Liberia need a better education, that need a better health care, that need agriculture, need a better road, right? And many other things to happen. But the issue is fundamental. Leadership, in my view, my analysis, my outlook of things in Liberia needs only a better leader, a group of leaders that can move that country forward. The resources are there. How to manage those resources, you need competent people. You need people who have love for that country, patriotic sons and daughters of that land. In the absence of that, the George Weah, I am not going to be voting, but I say for those who are in Liberia, if they think George Weah is the best leader, let them vote for him. But they must just be reminded that will be another 6 years added to their lives. If you want Joseph Boakai, let them vote for Joseph Boakai. Liberians should be thinking about themselves. What is it that I need? What was my 6 years like? How should I add another 6 years to it? It is that decision. So if we have one person on this show that wants to be president, we don't want you to say, this man is our friend, all of those things. We want to ask you the critical question, and you must be able to address them. The issue right now for me is not whether George Weah's proper agenda is being implemented is a failure. Like you said, if Liberian government means well, the General Auditing Commission should be thinking about auditing all of the budget, the past budget, and even the current budget, and match it with the activities that the government plan to do. The audit report is what we should be waiting for to read. We can't be talking about, the person they're going to build another highway, coastal highway from Monrovia to Southeast. It's not possible. Joe Weah knows within his own, he can't last with Liberian any longer to say, well, they're going to build a coastal highway. Right? If you didn't start even putting the first break, at this time, what is it that you're going to be doing? So you want to be president, you must be able to now, you guys must be able to tell, this is my health plan. This is my agricultural plan. This is my plan for roads in that country. This is my plan for the young people of that country. This is my plan for those young people in the street. These are the things we'll be doing. In fact, this is what we have started doing. I agree with you. Nobody's going to be telling you, say, you might have friends outside the book. Those are hard political issues that we probably will sit money discuss, because definitely you need other nations. There's no nation that can survive without other nations. But politically speaking, yeah, you will be elected. If you are elected, you'll be elected for all the people of Liberia. So you must be able to tailor your discussions and tell us what are the things they plan to do, so that when we're looking at it tomorrow, we will judge you by that, assuming that you want election.
The thing is, I will disagree with you on one thing in terms of leadership. Leadership is not about a group of people. Let me tell you this. The critical element that we are missing in Liberia is a leader. We're talking about a singular person who has or who will demand the enforcement of the laws.
And I differ with you.
Hold on a second.
When you throw this, just a point. I'm not taking 2 minutes. I'm not taking 2 minutes.
No, I got to you on.
Okay, all right.
Hold on. You see, almost every laws that they have in the United States, almost every law, we have same existing law in Liberia. The problem here is the lack of enforcement of laws, the political will to do what is right. That's what the leader, that's the only thing, that's the missing element we have in Liberia. Let me give you one example. We come in, as we speak right now, the Minister of Agriculture is indicted by the LACC. The National Election Commissioner, she's also indicted. I'm talking about for corruption. These are audit reports. I didn't say it. These are audit reports that recommended these people for prosecution, but they are still at their positions. So it shows a lack of political will to do what is right. We only need to enforce our laws. We don't need any 10,000 men doing anything. The leader should demand, if the judge is not enforcing the law, or if the judge is doing what is wrong, he should be impeached. We only need to enforce our laws. And humans are social animals. Everybody is afraid of consequences. Everybody. Once there is an impression of impunity, you have people doing what they have to do. But if the people know that, oh, if I do this thing, I will be held accountable, most people will not do it. Me and you driving on this highway, as long as we see one cop car, what do? We start driving straight in order, because we know there will be consequences for our action. So your leader, the most important aspect, he should have the political will to enforce the law and do what is right. Thank you.
Can I correct you right there? Let me say this much to you.
Go ahead.
There are reasons why we have 3 branches of government.
Yes.
And there's a reason why the founding fathers of democracy in Liberia, they have told you and I that there must be no interferences from one branch to another. There must be an idea of understanding that the judicial branch of government will work separately, independently, to ensure that the laws of Liberia are upheld. There are reasons why they say the executive branch of government, even the executive branch of government, the president of Liberia, the president must have a capable cabinet. Now, a cabinet means that people will look at issues and discuss it, not only look at the president. The president is just one person. But if you have a capable cabinet, people go in there to discuss the issues that matter to the country. George Weah will be like, okay, just a ceremonial leader. If you have a cabinet that will be prepared to discuss the issues and that will even lash at other cabinet ministers, you will have result. That's one issue. When you look at the legislature should be checking on the president. The president is not supposed to tell the lawmakers what to do. So you can have the finance president and you have the worst members of the legislature, you're still not going to go anywhere. The president is not going to do legislative work. So I mean, your statement is not just that's the idea Liberians have had before, those archaic ideas that is the president that moved the country. But those didn't work that way. You need better legislators, you need better judges, you need better members of the bench, you need leaders. You need leaders that will operate and run a government.
When you say this as a lawyer, then I'm worried. When you say this as a lawyer, I'm worried.
On what?
You know, number one, listen to this, what you just said. The executive branch that the president controls refused to forward the Minister of Agriculture to the court system. And you're saying that the court system should work? The president refused.
But you don't get.
Excuse me. Listen.
A system of leaders.
No. Let me come in. The same thing. The president refused to forward the National Election Commissioner after the LACC booked her for offering contract to two of her brothers for prosecution. And you say what I'm saying is the president lacks the will to do what is right. And one of the things as a lawyer, what you should know, in most African countries, democracy is in name only. The president is imperial. You see, you are almost talking about idealistic. You are being idealistic. I'm being reality based.
But
the president drives the country in Africa. The president drives the country.
Wrong. You must first and foremost accept the best system that exists.
But that's what I'm telling you.
Not the failures. No, it's because listen to me. Just a few seconds.
I will not listen. I will tell you.
Because for example, if the people believe that there is an imperial system, do you think you want to be president to be an imperial president?
I do not support it, but what I'm saying is the president refused to submit.
No, it's not that. Do you want a system? Are you talking about a system? Are you talking about those failures? Are you telling me that you want to be president because you want to be an imperial president?
No. That's why I said the leader.
Let's take our last question.
That's why I said the leader should do what is right. The leader should have the capacity, the political will to do what is right. If the leader is not enforcing the rules, who go by the rules?
That's why you want to correct the wrong.
But
you want to correct the wrong, and you tell them about imperialism.
No.
With you.
I was telling you the way the system works. I'm not saying I'm going to be an imperial president. But I'm telling you now that the president refused to forward the Minister of Agriculture.
That's the reason why they replace him. But we say we have the errors. But we're talking about a system that exists.
Let's move forward. I got the last question here for
Go ahead, man.
And you can comment later, Jensen.
Go ahead.
We know about the youth problem, the problem the youth have in Liberia. They into drugs and other harmful substances. When you become president, how do you intend to address that situation? Because this is something that is all over the country right now.
That is very good. You see, one of the things that I see in Liberia is what I call knee-jerk reaction to complex problems. You see, they say Zogos. You see, sometimes when I look at this, I say, but people need to sit down and go to what I call a think tank process. Zogos, the people you see on the street, they are the end result of a series of problems. Most time to solve a problem, you go to the source of that problem. That's why I propose, I think on one show, that the government of Liberia should emphasize the family. Let me tell you how I would do. Every married man with his wife and children, I will register them. Every month, I will give them what I call subsistence allowance. That is what I call cash transfer. I'm maintaining the family. Women, single with children, I will give them subsistence allowance. Let me tell you something. The Zogos you see on the street, they are the end result of the social pressures on the family. So we cannot just say, oh, we're solving the problem in the street, because the problem in the street is a complex problem. First, we concentrate on the families. Then we do a scientific research in terms of knowing, scientifically, how many Zogos we have. Let me tell you one good example for that. Dillon went and said, oh, I will build one house You build one house for Zogo, more of the Zogo outside than Zogo in that house. You have to have an idea of how many Zogos you have before you can design a comprehensive problem that will deal with all of them. And let me tell you this, most of those things, they require what you call social worker. They require psychiatrists. Some of these children need to be attended to their mental issues here. So there should be a comprehensive solution. But my focus first, my target will be on the family. Because when the family breaks down, what we see, the end result is children in the street. So married man, wife and his children, I will give them subsistence allowance. Women, single mom with children, I will give them subsistence allowance. And I will also use part of that as part of my education program. I will mandate that every child, it will be compulsory. Every child must go to school from K to 12th grade. It will be free, government schools.
But they have free school right now. They say it's free.
That's what I'm telling you. What I know is free now. They say LU is free. That's what I know. I don't know about K-12 to be free. I don't know that. But what I'm saying, free but mandatory. That means if your child don't go to school, there will be consequences for that. You can put ice water on that picking here to go sell on the street. There will be consequences for that. But what I'm saying is we have to look at a comprehensive approach, because the children you see in the street, that's the end of the road. So unless we start attacking where the Zogos are coming from, the problem will continue to persist. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse, you want to?
Well, I'm not running to be president, and those who are running, we want to hear from them. But this is what I would say about the drugs problem in Liberia. Instead of finding money to give to parents, which is good, I mean, Liberians should enjoy the wealth of their land. But the issue for me, and we hope some of us will go to Liberia someday and take some actions against some people. You have individuals that are in government, that are in private places, that are bringing drugs into the country. Drugs are entering Liberia almost on a daily basis. That should be the first approach for any president. Are you bordering? Are you protecting the bordering point, the point of entry, where when somebody is bringing in bags of drugs, you will stop that? Are you doing that? Where the drugs coming from to enter Liberia? Because let's assume that you gave parents money to say this and that. Oh yeah, they will eat. They will give some money out to their children. Their children will still go out. The drugs are out there. They will buy the drugs. But until you can begin to prosecute people who are found bringing drugs or carrying drugs in our country, you're not going to be finding a solution to the problem. The problem is numerous. And I agree with you on the point of making research. We need to know who are those affected. We also need to know who are those who are really selling drugs. Are there lawmakers who are behind those drugs coming in the country? Are they within the executive branch of government? Where are they coming from? Where are the drugs coming from? When you can begin to identify those problems, you will find solution to those things. And I agree with you when you say, well, they have broken family system. Yes, I agree. Those are some part of the problems. But to say that where the solution comes from, no, I don't think so. Because guess what? In your house, you get 5 children, and you get a very strict law that say no smoker enter your place or nobody carries cigarette in there. And you have a mechanism put in place that cigarette is not being carried in there. The children in there very likely will not smoke. Right? The RIA is blocked. No drugs coming from RIA. The Freedom border is blocked. The Guinea border is blocked. The Africa border. Those places are controlled. And you have honest people. DEA officers who are honest. Stopping all drugs from entering the country. But if you have let's say DEA people bringing drugs in the country, you have drugs coming from RIA, Freeport, drugs coming from there entering the country. What do you expect? The children, you're not going to tie your children in the house. They will have to go out. They have to socialize. They have to go out there. So until you can, right now, like in America here, you must say we are aware. Government is giving the best of resources to everybody, especially single mothers and all of those stuff, right? That is not a solution. The children are still in the street, right? So what do? You must find a way. How do you curb drugs from entering? Liberia is a small country that can be managed if people are really serious. So that is my point. You cannot stop let's say 18-year-old child from going in the street. They want to go.
Sir, when you say this thing, you just reinforce my point. You see, you are looking at this thing from an emotional standpoint. I'm looking at it from a rational and reasonable standpoint. rational.
I'm not emotional here.
No,
I just tell you.
hold on now. You were talking. Let me land. You see,
Why
all
you
of
say
us
that?
here, we have kids, right? We
Mhm.
have kids. If the family is broken, there are consequences. You are talking about law enforcement. We have a DEA that have responsibility. You just said something right now that reinforced my point. You say, oh, people bringing drugs in the country. Then I also told you that if the president don't have the political will to do what is right, those things will continue to persist. So drugs, America is the most infested with drugs, but there are consequences when you are caught. And
I agree.
it doesn't depend on the DEA official. Some DEA people engage in drug trading too. The problem here is when you are caught, there are consequences. In Liberia, when you are caught, oh, that my cousin there, that my big brother, or whatever, we just heard 100 million worth of drugs in Liberia who have been prosecuted to the fullest. That's what I'm telling you. If the leader is not hell-bent on enforcing the law, nothing will work. You need a leader who will enforce the law to the letter. There must be consequences for breaking the law. And it comes from the leadership. The president should say, no, we got to address this thing to the fullest extent possible. Minister of Justice, do your job. That's what has to happen. So I will tell you this, Liberia border, you talk about the border. You know the South Liberian border, we don't even have the manpower to man any border. Liberia is very porous. We don't have the manpower. So you
That's
are
an
talking
issue.
over like,
If you are doing a survey, that would be an issue, right? And you have to identify that issue and you have to solve the problem.
No, you are talking in an aspirational level. Even the border of America, they can't mount every border point. You don't know that? They can't mount the border point.
No. You get it wrong. You get it
all the
wrong.
border
You
points.
get it wrong.
No. You cannot mean all the border points. But what you can do,
that's not what I'm saying.
you can make sure that
That's not what I'm saying. There are border
You're
points
making
of
some
entry.
mistakes.
Listen to me, my brother. There
No,
are
you are
border
making
points of
mistakes.
entry where human beings pass every day.
I am
If you
saying,
go to Guinea right now, if you go to Lofa country right now, the Lofians know where people pass every time they enter the country.
Right?
What I'm saying is, even America border is porous. The drug cartel come with drugs every day. What is in America is when you are caught, there are consequences for that. And that's what we need in Liberia. That's what we need in Liberia. We just need the president to have integrity, the political will to do what is right. Over $100 million worth of drugs were found in Liberia. You think that's the first time? You think that was the first time? It wasn't. But we have to make sure when you are caught, we make an example out of you. So I'll say, oh yes, there are consequences for this. But I'll tell you, my brother, until we can concentrate on the family, our society will be broken. The family is the root of human society. That's what we have to concentrate on. And I will tell you that you and myself, my kids don't take drugs. I know your kids don't take drugs because of the way you manage your home, you manage your family, you give your children values. So until we can concentrate on the home, nothing will work, my brother. The family has to be secured. That's what guarantees us a future. My kids don't take drugs because the way I manage my children, the way I manage my home, I know all of us on this show do the same thing.
Time is fast spent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We see that the social media is flooded with all kinds of divides. The political atmosphere, you can see, you it's like you can feel the divide. Opposition against opposition, opposition against ruling establishment. What is your take on this whole new style of politicking in Liberia?
Well, I will say this. I relish, I love dialogue, I love interaction. You see, I like this show. You see, my good friend myself will go in. I mean, I was asking for him the last time.
I just want you to discuss the issue. I mean, I have no personal issue.
I relish this. I like it because you see, differences are good. That shows our diversity, which is our strength. We must have differences of opinion. If we all wear the same hat, we'll look weird. So I relish it, but you see, it should be based on ideas. It shouldn't be based on personality. Like, I don't want to cuss somebody, personally. Our differences should be rooted in, oh, you believe this thing, or you are proposing this, I believe this, so I love differences. They are good. So I like how things are going in Liberia. At the end of the day, the cream will rise to the top. So let's have differences. The only thing is we shouldn't insult each other.
No,
we shouldn't take it personal.
That wouldn't happen here.
No, she's talking about online.
Yeah.
You see? So we can disagree. I love it. I welcome that. So I think it's healthy for Liberia because, back in the day, everybody was scared to talk. Let people talk now. I want people to talk. It's good. Because you see, from these kind of shows, people in Liberia, even that one person, they will say, oh, well, those guys were talking about something. How is drugs coming in the country? Oh, yeah, they caught the drug guy. The guy who was caught for that drug, I hear that he was on bail. The guy who they caught for the arms, they said the guy imported arms in Liberia. I hear the guy is free. So you see, if there are no consequences for doing what is bad,
you
the
have
society
more
will break down.
Yeah.
You see, the executive must ensure that the laws are enforced. Thank you, my good brother. I look forward to you again. I am very happy for this show
Jesse,
tonight.
you want to comment before we look at some of the comments there?
On the media, I strongly believe that the media has a huge responsibility if there would be a free, transparent elections. Some of us who study communication right in Liberia, there are ethical issues right now with most of the media institutions. And we think they need to look at issues from the perspective where they give access to all of those persons who want to be president and let their voices be heard so that Liberia can make independent and informed decisions when they go to the poll in October. Now, it is not about saying these things. It's about for the betterment of democracy, for the betterment of those things that we all want to see. We want to see health, agriculture, whatever good that we want for that country. It will not come as a result of becoming a sycophant or taking money because you feel you can get money to cope for tomorrow. It's about the future of that country. So every media institution has a role, and no one should be allowed to thwart the democratic process. That would be my plea to almost all of the media friends that we all have in Liberia. They need to do what is just. A few weeks ago, we heard that George Weah invited some of the media executives to his house or to his church. And after church, they went and played basketball, volleyball, and after that, he gave them envelopes. Now, you cannot do that in this kind of a period of elections. Doing that, anybody can say the media is not credible. In fact, after they came from there, George Weah himself, we are told or we read from the dailies that he, in fact, said the media is not credible enough to question politicians. Now, what will you say if he took envelope from George Weah and he said the media is not credible? Will you blame him for saying that? No, I wouldn't blame him. I would blame the media. If George Weah had not had major press conferences for the 5 years, now you had an opportunity. I told some friends, I said, look, if I was in that gathering, if George Weah even said you were not going to take questions, I would have posed a question to him so that he could address the question. Because if he never discussed the issue of the auditor's death in the car, if he did not discuss the issues that confronted those Liberians that died in the street, other places, Imaya Yinswa, other people that died, then you have the opportunity to sit with the president. Even if you say you went to the church, from the church you went to your house, you have some fun fair. To his amaze, I would have put a microphone to his mouth and asked him, Mr. President, what do you think the then internal auditor chief that died? You've asked him the question, let him address it. Because by and large, the president should give account of those persons. The justice minister is the eye for the president. So if they did not take the actions necessary, perhaps the judge should have had a report on his death. You should be able to tell Liberians, okay, these people died, this was the report that we got. The Minister of Justice submitted to my office, this person died on this time, and this were the causes that were discovered by them. Until other government can come and open this file, this is the result we have for now. So when you don't do these things, at the end of the day, people blame the media, say they're not doing their work. So these are some of the issues, and we hope that, no man is infallible, but people must begin to look at issues as they unfold in the truest sense of looking at society to be good. Every one of us was talking because what? If Liberia is good, nobody would want to even call Jensen like that and say, oh, Jensen, please, I need this help. Because people will have jobs. People will be able to use their own money and go to hospitals and take treatment. And these are the concerns that we have. And so again, our guest, we love him because we think he has an idea. But the idea that he's thinking about, we want to hear him say it. We want those like people who listen to him to say what the young man. I saw somebody posted a comment. He said if they were not voting for, if they are not taking comment, they would have considered him because he has some good ideas. Those are some of the comments here. Well, that's the person's mind. Maybe if he is very strong enough to sell his idea, who knows? What? G. Gwen John
Smith, yeah.
Okay, so who knows? Maybe you can convince this lady, the young lady who's now leaning on comics. So I listen to you and say, "Oh, if I never had comics, I would have thought of you." Okay, so
Yeah.
when you come on this platform, we want to. Even I was sitting out here. I have people in Liberia going to be voting. So I have to question you so that you can be able to say what are some of those things that we want to hear. I talk about a team. I know there's no political institutions or individual that become president without a team. Now you need few persons here. So maybe later on we'll ask patient, you know why we need to talk to these guys who say they're supporting our band. Then we come to hear from them. If we call them and their ideology is different with what you have said, then we will question you further.
But listen, this is what Alex Jones said. He said Ben Farm would be my internal affairs minister.
So you see, that's another presidential aspirant who said would be as internal affairs minister. So until we listen to all the people,
that's an appointment already.
Okay, my brother, let me say one last thing too before we come to the last word.
Right.
You see, these interactions are good, but I would like to use this platform to encourage every Liberian everywhere. When people are aspiring for leadership, let's demand that these people discuss the critical issues and also provide solutions, because Liberians and Liberia is hurting. I look at this USAID report. I don't want to look at it anymore. I mean, look at the malnourishment in Liberia. It is heartbreaking. Our children under 5 years old, almost 40% of them are dying from malnourishment. So these are critical issues. You talk about youth unemployment, food insecurity, healthcare, sanitation. What are the solutions? What are you proposing? We know what Joia is doing right now is failing. It's not working. That's why this problem continues to persist. So what are the alternatives? That's why I'm on this show. That's why I'm saying in an election year, we should be discussing solutions to the problem faced by our people. I go on shows, they talk about the Liberian economy. There is no Liberian economy. It's just a system that is managed by criminals. There's no economy. So how are we going to fix all these things? We don't even have a competent address system in the country. We do not. 98% of the country has no address system. That should bother every one of us. In case of emergencies, health emergencies, maybe crime emergency, how do you get access to help? So these are the kind of critical things I want people to come on these shows and provide solutions. It's okay we talk about them, but we can propose some of the things we are going to do in terms of what I call corrective actions. And if you haven't seen Mr. Jensen, www.kofa2023.com, you will go there and see my vision for Liberia. It is listed there. What I want to do, what I'm proposing, what I want to do in Liberia. And I want to say this, I know sufficient Liberians. I've gone on a few shows. People call me, say, "Oh man, you are talking something different." Because look, my brother, you can bear me witness on this show. Look at what's happening the whole week. It's drama. It's one drama to another. Oh, JMB is in America. The man is sick. You know, JMB is sick. For me, I don't deal with people medical records. I do not. There is a degree of confidentiality associated with that. All I deal with is the issues.
Right.
What is JMB proposing in terms of transforming the lives of Liberians? What is Cummings proposing? Have you heard Cummings outlay any economic plan? Have you ever heard him talk about the youth unemployment? Have you ever heard Cummings talk about national insecurity? What is he going to do? Those are the kind of things those are the debates I welcome. Those are the things we should be talking about now. I should come on the show. You guys say, okay, today we are talking about agriculture, Benjamin. How do you see this sector? What will you do to improve it? Those are the kind of dialogues I want. Somebody stole 80,000 for coming. They may run to Sierra Leone. That is not news for me. It will do nothing to nobody. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate this show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben. We just look at the comments. You saw them already. Gwen is saying that drug addiction is a chronic mental health disease and it stems from the breakdown of the family and the
That's what
society.
it is. That's what it is.
And Gwen also said that you go and work for Cummins.
No, I won't work for Cummins. No. I would not work for Cummins.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with for working for Cummins or Cummins working for you. Whoever
No,
wins
because Cummins' vision don't align with mine.
No. What I'm saying to you is, one person will be elected, right?
Yeah.
You have all of you found at the let us assume that you didn't win election. What happened next?
Well,
You
I
set
will still
aside, you wouldn't work for any government.
I'll be an advocate, like I'm doing now.
Okay.
Yes, I will still work in the interest of Liberian people.
Okay.
Okay, she said the drugs problem, Liberia needs a multi-dimensional approach.
It's not simple. It's a complex problem right there.
Yeah.
You need
Alex said he said I have identified the drug problem in Liberia. The WIA government is involved. That's Alex. Oh yeah.
Well, I think for my closing comment, firstly, we appreciate Ben. And I agree with him that sharing ideas it doesn't require fighting. It doesn't require causing man cause, like in the Liberian way we say. It doesn't require and then young person. You can discuss the ideas, and find solution to the problems. In this year, the only way we will be a little bit different. That will be a little bit different from the former way of doing it is because this is election, and for me, I'm interested in the overall goal. Liberians need to make a very informed decision this year. It is their lives, it's the life of their children.
Yeah.
Is the condition they will be fighting for the better condition of their environment, the community in which they find themselves. So those who we have more than, I guess, 15% who want to be president. So we need to understand those individuals. The incumbent want to retain that seat. Now, we need to know why he wants to be there. Liberians need to know why he must be. Like Cummins, like the Bwaka, like the LX, all the other persons who want to be president. We want to put you guys to lay out your platform, your agenda. What do you have for Liberia? What is in your mind? So that Liberians can have an alternative to have the issues discussed. Having said those, this is a platform, and I think Patient is doing well. We want everybody who want to discuss the issues, you come by and discuss it. It's good that people talk. Bwaka is, like you say, you don't want to talk about Bwaka's illness. When you talk about Bwaka's, you're not talking Bwaka's illness because you want the old man to die. But this is a persistent problem. Like you said earlier, right? You have the National Social Security over there that should be setting the kind of a roadmap for people who age out. I spoke to one old lady who said, well, they pay me $10 every month after my whole life as I work for the government of Liberia, the Republic of Liberia. $10. She said, what can I do with this? So what system is there? So that's why when we asking people, we ask them because sometimes we have this information and we want people to make decisions on the basis of their lives. I'm aging out. Why I flew from here and went to Liberia and something happened to me in Liberia? I don't have medical treatment in that place. I think it's all America, I go to a hospital, but now I go to Liberia. There will be no way for me to fly from Liberia overnight and come to the US and take treatment.
No.
So that's why we all sit here, and not because of ourselves, but even those who are over there. If there is a better medical system over there, there are better health workers. You can go to Liberia anytime you rest. The people don't understand. If you have better health workers, you myself will come say some annual time. You say, "Oh, I'm going to take treatment in Liberia," right?
Yeah.
You go to Liberia, go take a good treatment. You come by, we spend less money, get good medical treatment.
People go to India, people go to Thailand. Yeah. Yeah.
Get a better system. Many workers will come from here and go on and go work.
Yeah.
Maybe go there and work for a year and come back here. But the people
No,
who
you're right.
have those ideas or even thinking about how can we incorporate Liberia, you talk about some foreign doctors going to Liberia to train people. You have Liberians here. All they need is provide them the opportunity and the facility. They can leave and go where they work for 2 years, 1 year, they come right back. Or set up a system so that Liberians you can benefit from them, not only the health sector, educational sector, and other places, and other sector. You know, that you will get people going over to work, improve the system, share their ideas, and even teach, and whatever, and come right back here. That's the kind of system, that kind of people will be looking for. So we'll be questioning you people because we want the best of Liberia. Some of you that get the best idea, we just want Liberia to listen. Let the leader say, if I were not for coming, I would have gone for you. That means you are getting some, some good message from you.
No, tell her she's for me. She's
Okay,
not for me.
I want to leave with you. Maybe you can contact her from there. You're going to talk. So, Patient, thank you so much for the platform.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Ben, for coming, and thank you, Mr. Justin. Thank you, our viewers, for joining us for another discussion on the Two-Way Radio Roundtable. We will be here tomorrow with our business and economic forum, and also in the morning, hopefully we can have a inside Liberia. So until we meet again, have a blessed night, and still continue to follow Two-Way Radio. Continue to make your comments. They're very, very important. We always look at them, and continue to share the broadcast. Thanks for joining us. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you and good night. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.